Mortal Kombat is one of my favorite games ever, and Goro is one of my favorite bosses ever. And when I'm talking about favorites, I don't just mean fighting games or arcade games in general, I mean all games, period. So anyway, let's get into it. Awesome boss battles. Mortal Kombat for the arcade. Goro. I love everything about Goro's character. His design, his backstory, his fighting style, even his name. Goro. That's a great name for a boss. 2 syllables. Goro. Simple, imposing, perfect. The stop-motion animation for his character is equally fantastic. It looks very fluid and realistic. Hell, the character is so great he even gets his own intro screen in the attract mode. He's half human, half dragon, and all ass kicker. I would even make an argument that he is the best boss in all fighting games, period. He is just that well made. Also, Goro has one of the best entrances of any boss ever. I remember first seeing it as a kid in the arcade and being awed. After you beat the 2 fighters in Endurance Round 3, they go up in smoke. And then Goro drops onto the battlefield like BAM! Holy fuck! That was my reaction as a kid. That's one hell of an entrance! It was literally one of the most amazing things I'd ever seen in a game. There was 2 arcade machines when I first saw this. That's how popular the game was back then. And I had never seen 2 of the same arcade machines in an arcade before then. I don't think kids today can truly appreciate how revolutionary Mortal Kombat was when it first came out in 1992. Okay, maybe almost 30 years later, it's not much to look at. You know what? Fuck that! It's still an awesome introduction. Goro isn't the kind of boss who just walks into a fight. No, the cool motherfucker crashes down and poses like he knows he's gonna beat the fuck out of you. And beat the fuck out of you, he does. I just flat out love his moves. Not just because of their smooth animation, but also because of the sheer brutality of them. In one of his attacks, he punches you so fucking hard you go flying across the screen. And in another attack, he hits you with a fireball that knocks the fuck out of you and takes a good chunk of your life. And yet another attack, he jumps on you and crushes you. Seeing what a big fucker Goro is, I'm surprised he doesn't crush you into a puddle of pulp. He can even grab you and throw you around or backhand you like you're his bitch. But my favorite attack has got to be when Goro grabs you with 2 of his hands and then pounds the fuck out of you with the other 2. Bam, 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 bam! Normally I hate it when bosses beat the living shit out of you. But this attack is so fucking cool that I don't even mind it. Another thing I like about Goro is that he is tough and he can take a lot of damage. Shit, I don't even think The Rock could harm this guy. And if you are not on your game, he will wipe the floor with you. Plus, for every attack you do, his do even more damage. So he can take a lot of punishment and certainly dish a lot out. However, Goro does have some weaknesses. For one, when he throws a fireball, he's vulnerable to jump kicks and other attacks. Also, sometimes you can get him into a loop and cheese him with certain characters. For example, with Scorpion, you can knock Goro down, flip behind him, spear him, uppercut him, and simply repeat the same pattern. Plus with Raiden, if you time it right, you can cheese Goro with jump punches. At times like this, I almost feel sorry for the guy. Almost, but not quite. While doing this review, I also wondered, could Johnny Cage nut punch this guy? Yep, it turns out Goro does have balls after all. Seeing how big he is, they must be the size of Texas! Even the build-up to the battle is great, with the ground shaking and Goro roaring. Not to mention the awesome fight music. Listen to this. It's sinister and it has this great pounding beat behind it. It sets the mood for the battle perfectly. When I finally beat Goro, I feel a real sense of accomplishment. After that epic fight, Shang Tsung, the final boss, almost seems like an anticlimax. Now I'm not saying he's terrible. Far from it. He's a good boss and his fireball attack can really kick your ass. Plus his shapeshifting ability makes him formidable. But most of the time it feels like he's just copying the other characters and he's not really his own boss. At least for me, Goro is the true boss of the game. And if he had been the final boss, I would have been perfectly fine with that. Overall, Goro is not only one of my favorite bosses, he's also one of my favorite Mortal Kombat characters ever. I'd even go as far as to say he's my second favorite Mortal Kombat character, next to Scorpion. He's the kind of boss I love playing against, even when he's whooping my ass up and down the screen. So in conclusion, I think this is one of the greatest boss fights in any game ever, and I think it's well worth your time to play it. This is Film and Stuff, signing off. Thanks for watching. Yep, it turns out Goro does have balls after all.